What is up, guys? My name is Chris, otherwise known as Two Wheel Addict around here. Today we're going to be going over my second R6. This is not the first one I've had. This is actually my second bike. The first one I had, I totaled popping wheelies and I cracked the frame, so it was no longer rideable. The mechanic called it a rolling coffin, so I wound up pretty much giving that bike away, and I got the same bike again because I loved it so much. I'm not sure what it is, but maybe it's because it was my first bike, but this was like my favorite looking bike that I've seen. So I've seen the newer R6s or newer R1, and I didn't really like them. Like they just didn't look the same, and maybe it's a nostalgia thing for me. But I love this bike. I've done a lot of modifications to it on my own. I've had help from a pro rider along the way. So what we're going to do right now is a quick overview of my bike, what all I've done to it, and what sets it apart from other bikes. Uh, First things first is when I got this bike, it was stock. It had the same little sparkly paint that it has on it now. I'm not sure if we can see it, but it had the same sparkle paint on it. It had a silver frame, which was kind of old school. I didn't like that, and that was it. It also had the stock exhaust, which ran from here and came up and connected to the right passenger foot peg. So what I've done to this bike real quick is I kept the same paint. I haven't adjusted the paint yet. I ordered two different decal kits with all the Yamaha stickers on it. I ordered two sets, this way I could have extra ones like for the wheel in the back, the wheel in the front as well. Just simple reasons why I bought two. Just way I had enough stickers for the bike. So I had the R6 on the back. I had the X-Up Delta Box 2. That is the frame of this particular bike. We got the Yamaha on the bottom, Yamaha logo, R6, more Yamaha, the X-Up Delta Box. Delta Box is the frame. The X-Up is the exhaust Ultimate Performance, which was a Yamaha thing. Another Yamaha decal there, Revs sticker, that's why I buy some bike parts. Yamaha on the front. 28 is my number. 28 is the year I fell in love with bikes. My first time riding a sport bike, that's how old I was, and that's my number right there. Alright, so moving on. So that was the first mod I did. I just got some stickers on the bike here to kind of spice it up and give it my own little, my own little piece of love on it. Second was on the back here. This is where a back seat was. This whole thing would have been a seat, but this is just right here to catch your butt when you're in the tuck position. It's a plastic add-on here, just a rear seat cowl where the rear seat would go. Obviously, when I got the aftermarket GP exhaust, I took out the big stock one that ran from here all the way down. I took out my foot pegs. That was my next mod. I did not like foot peg looks on it, so I got rid of those. This little white fender here, this came off of my first R6. So that was like the third or fourth mod I did. Next was I painted the frame black. It's a much cleaner look than the silver. I really don't like the way that the silver looks on it. So we got the frame black. That was the next mod I did. Let's see, I think that was it for a while, and then my front tire went bald, so I went ahead with the Michelin Power Pilot 2s. That's a really good tire in itself. It's got a lot of grip. It's really confidence inspiring. You can see where it gets chewed up down there when I'm out there on the roads. So that's had a little bit of work done on it for a while. The next thing I wound up doing was I had to change out my rear tire. That was the Battle Axe. It was a sport touring tire. But next up was this one here. You can see where this one gets chewed up as well. I put in a lot of work on these tires, getting sideways and whatnot. This was the BT16, the Pro model. A lot more stickier, grippier, less tread life for maximum grip, so I went with that. So tires were the next thing I did. I went with the custom tailored 33, so it's a red rim tape that's reflective at nighttime. It really sticks out the cars. They can see, much better. So I got that on the rear and the front. The next mod I did were frame sliders in case you crash. In case you crash, this right here will stop your bike from, beating your motor up. This will save you in the event of a crash. The next thing I did was I got red levers. Just something to kind of tie my whole red, white, and black scheme together. So this is the final product. I don't know how long. There's also we put in a high performance clutch from DP Clutches. My bike's kind of dirty because it rained yesterday, but that's the company I got my high performance street clutch from. And I think that's about it. I mean, of course, I got my brake line done white. You know, I painted my little rear fender white to just get the accents right. Same thing with the fairing bolt kit. We got those white as well. Uh, I kind of touched on my little instrument panel here. You know, where my blinkers, you know, my horn, my high and lows are at. This bike has fork protectors in case you crash. You don't grind that shit down, and it's not accessible anymore. So there's that. I got Velcro here where I put my phone when I'm riding, so I can get my information. This right here is the wristband from my first crash on this bike that sent me to the hospital for a bit. As you can see, my bike has some issues. I wound up going off like the side of a cliff, man. I was leaning pretty hard in a left-hand turn, and halfway to the turn there was gravel, and just my back came out, and I flew off a cliff and got kind of fucked up. But it is what it is, so that's where the bike's at right now. You know, it's been a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of knowledge just spent gaining and learning. So we're going to crank it up. We're going to rev it a few times. I haven't had some revs in my recent videos, so go ahead and do that, you know. You know, kind of let it idle for a bit. I'm looking for cops, you know, but we'll go ahead and... Alright, I don't really want to fuck around a lot. Like I said, I don't know if there's cops, and this shit is pretty loud, man. But so far, that's all we've done. Tomorrow, I'm going to be ordering a dyno jet kit for it. Let me hit it one more real small. Tomorrow, I'm going to be ordering a dyno jet kit for it because this bike is not fuel injected. It has a carburetor, so we're going to swap out some of the jets in it and try and get it tuned a little bit better. Shortly after that, probably a month after this purchase tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and take it in and get a valve job. And if this bike isn't running 100% by then, when I get my tax money, instead of getting a new bike, I'll probably put it all into this to like completely rebuild the motor. Just basically remake this entire bike from scratch. But yeah, it's quick. You know, this thing does... this thing does 0, to 106 seconds. The fastest I've gone is 163 miles an hour. Pretty much any car out there it's no competition, man. I've raced vets and I shit on them. So, I mean, unless something out there is beating a Corvette like the new ones, then it's pretty much no match for a bike like this. But the fun part comes from leaning it over. You know, how far can you lean that bike over? How far can you lean that bike over until you can't lean it any further? You know, so that's when you start learning new things and, hanging off the bike and leaning it. But that's about it, guys. I just wanted to give you an update on the bike, the mods that I've done, where it's at. I think right now it's like at 100. I think right now it's at like 120 horsepower. So it's not a lot of horsepower, but the bike only weighs 400 pounds. You know, I'm like 160, 170. So the power to weight ratio is there. Overall, it's a good bike. I just wanted to, show you what I'm riding and what I've done to it so far. And you guys have a good one. Later.